Okay, a quick notice before I start this video. There's a friend of mine named Akshat, told me to be a nationalist. So, which means I'll be original now. And if you are not a car guy or you don't have any interest in these things, you are free to quit now. So, everybody knows about Ferraris. So, here are my top 5 Ferraris. And before we start, here this is what those cars are based on. Number 5 on this list is the Ferrari F50. Made to celebrate the Ferrari's 50th anniversary, which had F1 style construction technology and aerodynamics. I first saw this car in NFS2 SE. It was in the highest gear.
Nice.
Produced between 1995 and 1997, this car was a mid-engine rear-wheel drive with 2 seats with a Targa top and powered by a 4.7-litre naturally aspirated V12, which gave it a power output of 512 horsepower and 471 Newton meters of torque, with a 6-speed manual transmission and a weight of 1230 kilograms. And it also had that traditional round tail lights. Nice consistency, Ferrari. Only 349 cars were ever made. Now, we come to its performance. 0 to 100 km per hour or 62 miles per hour in just 3.87 seconds, which is pretty nice today, but it was cooler in the 1990s. And a top speed of 325 km per hour, which is 201 miles per hour. The F50 also came in the GT version known as the Ferrari F50 GT1. Came in 1996 with the intention of competing in BRP Global GT Series. It had increased power and torque up to 739 horsepower and 529 Newton meters of torque, which increased performance of 0 to 100 km per hour in 3.7 seconds and higher top speed of 376 km per hour, which is 51 km per hour more than the original F50. Physical appearance looked like it had an advanced aero kit for the track, big wing at the back and racing tires with black rims. Moving on to the number 4, which is the Ferrari 288 GTO. This is where those star-like shaped rims started, along with the Ferrari Testarossa. It was in production from 1984 to 1987 and only 200 was supposed to be built, but it had so many orders that Ferrari had to build 272 of those. It had a body style of 2 doors whatever this reads, I don't know. It came in any color as long as it's red. It had a best thing from the 80s, the pop-up headlights. This car was a mid-mounted rear-wheel drive. Side note, all Ferraris in this series are mid-engine, so stick with me. The GTO was powered by a twin-turbocharged V8 which produced 400 horsepower and 496 Newton meters of torque. With that mid-mounted layout, it had a 0 to 100 km per hour in just 4.9 seconds, which were great in the 80s, and top speed of 305 km per hour. There was also a racing version of the 288 GTO called the 288 GTO Evolution. Produced in 1986, only 6 of them were ever produced for Group B rally racing, in which the Audi Quattro SI was very successful, but it was cancelled at that time. So Ferrari planned the production run of 20 cars for the public. It was more aerodynamic and had more power. Powered by a 2.9-litre V8 with twin turbochargers that made 650 horsepower and lighter weight of 940 horsepower and increased top speed of 362 km per hour. And it was an influencer for the best Ferrari car ever made. Third on this list is the Enzo Ferrari. Besides having the owner's name Enzo Ferrari in its name, it was a nice car, as it had all the essence of a true Ferrari, and also the first car on this list which has butterfly doors. I think because this car is too wide, I don't know. Besides all that, it was produced in between 2002 to 2004 and was again a mid-engine rear-wheel drive 2-door. It's my favorite car in this list because I first saw this in the Need for Speed Rivals. Heck, I also have the RC car, which is broken. Anyway, it was powered by a naturally aspirated V12 which gave it 660 horsepower and 657 Newton meters of torque, and had those 6-speed F1 semi-automatic transmission. If you don't know what that semi-automatic transmission means, it is a manual transmission without clutch for quick shifts. Weighing only at 1255 kilograms, it had a 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in just 3.65 seconds and a top speed of 355 kilometers per hour, which is 221 miles per hour. Some new and exciting features of this car is that it was the first Ferrari road car with ceramic disc brakes. This car had a race version called the FXX. It was a track-focused Ferrari Enzo released in 2005. It had less weight than the Enzo at 1155 kilograms and had more power output from the naturally aspirated V12 at 789 horsepower and 686 Newton meters of torque. It was more aerodynamic than the Enzo Ferrari and had wings at the back for more downforce. Instead of those round tail lights, it had those 4 exhaust pipes for 0 to 60 miles per hour came in just 2.77 seconds and top speed of 325 kilometers per hour. The Maserati MC12 was also based on the Enzo Ferrari, but it's not a Ferrari. Now, the second on this list is the successor of the Enzo Ferrari, the Ferrari LaFerrari, the best hypercar and the most advanced Ferrari ever made, as it featured F1 derived hybrid system. Released in 2013, it showed the world the potential of hybrid hypercars, along with the McLaren P1 and Porsche 918 Spider. With the production run of only 500 units, this car continued with its butterfly doors after the Enzo Ferrari. It was a two-door coupe, rear mid-engine, rear-wheel drive hypercar with an electric motor, which is powered by a 6.3-liter naturally aspirated V12, which is boosted by an electric motor, which gives it a power output of 949 horsepower and 900 Newton meters of torque, which is equipped with a 7-speed dual-clutch transmission, which gives it a 0 to 100 km per hour in just 2.9 seconds and a top speed of 350 km per hour, which is about 217 miles per hour, because it only weighs around 1255 kilograms. My personal view on this car is that it is the most beautiful car of 2013. Now, its race version is no less beautiful, which is the Ferrari FXX-K, successor of Ferrari FXX. Produced between 2015 to 2017, only 40 units were ever made. It made much more downforce and lighter in weight than the LaFerrari. It still was a hybrid, but power went up to about 1050 horsepower and 900 Newton meters of torque. I would still prefer the LaFerrari to be more beautiful, but since this is a track car, I don't blame it. Actually, it's more aggressive by aerodynamics. Moving on to the number 1. Guess what it is? The Ferrari F40 from the 80s. And if someone in comments saying it's old and it's not even a hypercar, well, the greatness of the car comes from its history and how special it was made. Because it was the last supercar in which the owner Enzo Ferrari worked on, and this car is still known as the best Ferrari of all time. To celebrate the 40th anniversary of the Ferrari company, they introduced the F40. Unveiled in 1987, its looks and designs caught everyone's attention. It had scoops all over it, giving it a unique and distinctive looks. Like it was a mid-mounted rear-wheel drive car. It was also considered the purest Ferrari. It was hard to handle because it didn't got any power steering. Interior was simple, no leather, only bare carbon to save weight. It was powered by a twin turbocharged V8 producing 478 horsepower and 577 Newton meters of torque, weighing at only 1100 kilograms and equipped with a 5-speed manual transmission, which gave it a 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in just 4.1 seconds and top speed of 324 kilometers per hour, which is 201 miles per hour in Italy. And outside it, it had a top speed of 321 kilometers per hour, which is 199 miles per hour, beating its rival Porsche 959. Also, pop-up headlights. Ferrari decided to only produce 400 of these, but orders came in high numbers, so they made 1315 units. It had its racing version called the F40 Competizione. The F40 Competizione was especially made for GT endurance races in 1989. Only 10 of them were ever made. It was 70 kilograms lighter and had much more power than the original F40, with about 700 horsepower and more aggressive aerodynamics. So there you are. These were my top 5 Ferraris. You should know that all Ferraris in this list have round tail lights. Anyway, if this video is your first car video, please subscribe because you have made it this far. And if you liked, please like this video, and if you know any other car friend around you, you can share them and follow me on Instagram. Peace. Bye. I'm inspired by Bakugo.